Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Eat Sleep Game. My name is Luke, and this is lucky episode 13. I love the number 13. I am joined, as always, by Jake. How are you doing today, dude?
Yeah, I'm all good, dude.
Wonderful.
Been enjoying the rain lately. It's been pretty bad, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's been weird. I was trying to mow my garden yesterday, and I got pretty much 90% done, and then it started spitting, and I'm like, oh god, and I tried to do it real quick.
Time to run.
I didn't clean my my mower or anything like that properly. I just chucked it in the shed, ran inside. I was like, cool, and then the sun started setting, and I was like, son of a bitch.
No, I don't know what it is. Every time I've had to go outside lately, I've wound up getting soaked. So
yeah.
And it's always been dry when I've left. It's just 5 minutes after being outside, it's like it's time to go. But I'm looking forward to June rolling around and hopefully getting some more barbecue weather, because I've got my hands on some pretty good looking barbecue sausages that I literally bought them to put in the freezer to wait until we can next go see you and barbecue.
Nice. Awesome. I look forward to it. I haven't put my barbecue away. I've just thrown the cover over it. So
yeah,
I am anticipating that too.
Reuse the coals.
Well, I mean,
they're all
the
dead.
coals aren't in there anymore. Can't reuse those. They're gone.
They're all dead.
They're all gone. Apart from my dog, he's doing very well, because he is also called Cole. Ha ha ha. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you have that one, mate.
Have you been playing anything at all recently? Have you had the time to put any gaming time in?
Do you know what? Oddly enough, I've so I had a bit of a weird thing towards the end of last week where I was like, I really wanted to just play something, like anything sort of thing. So I started playing through some Final Fantasy VIII, and then realised that actually I really didn't want to do that. So I turned out. It's it is my favourite Final Fantasy game. I just kind of, I don't know, it's a bit too much. I wanted something a bit more I can just do it. So I actually wound up playing Total Warhammer 2 online for a little bit, doing battles against other people. That was fun. But again,
Nice.
It lasted like an hour or so. Now, here's the real kicker. And this is great because it ties into what we're planning on talking about today as well. I actually wound up playing more of the story from Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh,
I
wow.
should say. Yeah, real shocker to everyone involved, being
that's
me.
huge.
I turn it on. I actually turn it on with the intention of doing the online, because I actually enjoyed that a little bit with my mate a few months back. We was playing it online and I actually quite enjoyed it, but just really weirdly, I loaded in into the main game because it's just force of habit, and I was right next to a mission start point, and I was like, oh, let me just knock this mission out real quick and then I'll jump online. And then 4 missions later, I've finally moved camp. We're down in the marshlands by the river now, which is really sick. And I think I've just done the first Dutch mission there, where you go off and go fishing for a bit, and I think I spent too long fishing. I was there just letting them chat away. I was trying to let them exhaust their dialogue, to be totally honest.
That's when you get approached by the marshals, isn't it?
Yeah, and you go on a manhunt down the train, which was really cool. But it was the fishing part of the mission that actually really sort of I enjoyed. I'm just sitting there fishing away, listening to Dutch and I can't remember the other dude's name now, but anyway, listening to the three of them talking, and I don't know, it felt like it went on for a very, very long time, and they still hadn't exhausted their dialogue. And then I was like, okay, well, yeah, I've kind of got to get off of this now, so I wound up having to cut it a bit short. But I'm sure there must have been an end to their dialogue. I might have to Google it at this point, though, because there's no way without me playing through from the beginning again for me to actually experience that, as far as I know. But yeah, no, I actually really want to jump back onto it again and keep carrying on with some missions, because it's not all about hunting bears.
There are hunting games you can play.
Yeah.
But then I don't know if they feel as good as Red Dead does, to be fair. But no, that's great progress in. I love that game. I've had an itch to go back and
Yeah.
play it for quite a while, but it's stuck on my Xbox One, and even though it's like right here, it's not plugged in or anything, so I might have to get it on PC or something to actually play it again.
I forgot how kitted out I was in it actually, because
Yeah.
I did like loads of the treasure hunting stuff, like all the little side missions I could get my hand on. Essentially, is what I was doing, and doing a load of hunting as well just got me all the resources needed for all of the upgrade packs and that, and it's. I think I'm pretty kitted out for where I am in the game. But well, actually, to be honest, I have no idea how far through the story I'm at.
I mean, that's the good thing about games like that. If you're doing a lot of side missions and stuff like that, you can get leveled up and get loads of money behind you and have loads of nice weaponry and stuff before you actually need it.
Yeah, which is pretty sick. I mean, because I can't just pick up a gun. I have to like fully upgrade it and get all the bits and make it look the way I want it. Because for one of the missions, just before you move, John tells you to go and buy a sniper, and I bought it and I was like, oh, I'm probably not going to use this very much, but I still wound up like buying every single accessory bit that you could for it. So
yeah, no, 100%. When you get killed, you want people to like frame your weapons because it's Arthur Morgan's weapons. You want them to be distinctive.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. I mean, that's really cool. I really hope you do find time to keep going with it because it's an exceptional game. I personally think it's better than the first one. I found that I liked Arthur way more than I wound up liking John in the end.
Arthur's a really likable dude. I feel like in the first game, John's a bit like too whiny. That's not to say that John, Arthur isn't like whiny, because he does have his moments of just pure like, for God's sake, like
yeah.
Just his character.
It's a lot more justified, I think, though.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I guess I don't know. It's been a long time since I actually played.
Yeah, well, there was a line in one of the missions I did the other day where he's talking to John, and John's like looking at Arthur like he's Dutch's like best boy sort of thing, and Arthur basically just turns around and is like, well, actually, I'm just a work hound now. Like I'm a work mule.
Yeah.
Don't expect me to know anything or to understand what's going on. And I think that's quite telling. Like, you get that feeling from like the beginning of the game, because Dutch is constantly coming up to you being like, you're my boy, I feel better when you're around. And at the same time isn't telling you absolutely anything about anything. Because obviously we know that, I mean, you definitely know because you've completed this game, but we know from the first game that Dutch just all around isn't a good dude to anyone. We know he's a backstabbing bastard. It's just all sort of like really foretelling or foreshadowing.
Yeah.
I think they've done a really good job of it so far. So
they really do. I think with what they did with Dutch in the first game, where it was like, he's just kind of the bad guy. They make him such an incredible character in Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
To a point where like I'd compare him to almost like a cult leader sort of thing.
Oh,
like,
yeah, straight up, man.
There's something about him. He's so charismatic. He's really like, even though he's an absolute dick, and you're like, for fuck's sake, really, dude? Again, he is like really likable in a weird way.
Well, he could get me to
he just doesn't have
suicide pact.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair, it wouldn't take much at the moment.
Like, he's got so many people around him that are just sick of his shit, but they keep following him.
Yeah.
Like, it's really weird. I really, 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 really want a Sadie Adler game, because she's fantastic. I don't know if you're far enough in to have seen much of her yet.
Bits and bobs.
But she is probably the best character in the game. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
Either like DLC for her, like an expansion, or just straight up Red Dead Redemption 3, if they ever make that, is the Sadie Adler game, because she's so cool. love Sadie Adler so much.
To be honest, actually, it would be nice to see them take it down a more female-led path anyway, for any of their games.
100%. Because I mean, both games are about, that kind of era dying out.
Yeah, exactly.
And Sadie is probably the most feasible to focus a game around, actually making the jump between that and the next the kind of generation that was coming in after that.
Yeah,
because I don't think she'd be too much older by the time, because you could even set it in Red Dead Redemption 1 time and just follow what she does instead of John Marston.
Yeah, just take her in a different direction.
Yeah, because they leave her really open. Like, she doesn't get a definitive end. Like, she does just kind of go off and do her own thing after a while.
Well, one thing I will say about Red Dead 2 so far, throughout it, is I really like that it does have the Red Dead 1 map available on it. Like, you've got all this extra land on the other side. I think it's cut a bit of the Red Dead 1 land space off, hasn't it?
Yeah, so that's because of when it's set. So some of it hasn't been built. So like the railways and stuff like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think haven't quite been finished and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you ride far enough in that direction anyway, everything kind of becomes a little bit desolate, and you see that there's not a lot about. But yeah, no, I mean that's just a super cool touch. I mean they could literally just take her north, as because obviously John winds up going west.
Yeah.
We've already got east up to the coastline, so north would be a route that they could take her to expand a bit more without taking us too far away from like that proper western front that we enjoy from the games. So
yeah, and it could just be a case like GTA 5 did with Los Santos, and just expand it again.
Yeah.
Because obviously, by Red Dead Redemption 1, they're starting to modernize it, sort of thing.
I don't know. I'm still upset about that, actually. The remade Los Santos map. So I
really,
yeah, mate, I was a massive fan of Los Santos, like the original game, and so far, so I'd probably say it's one of my favorite games of all time. It's certainly one of my most played games of all time. And I loved the layout of that, man. Like, I thought the whole thing was good. And having, what did they call it? Las Venturas, the gambling strip island. Or Island 3, if you want to call it something, I guess. Having the 3 islands. Yeah, I loved the separation of it all. Like, you had the sort of San Francisco feeling bit of the second island. And I guess it is a bit much. That's not to say GTA 5's map's bad. I love GTA.
Isn't that
5
Vice City?
But yeah, it might have been Vice. No. San Andreas. It had three islands. You're like trying to rack your mind there. So you had, or at least you have 3 bits to unlock.
Sure.
So you had like.
Yeah.
Did you look it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the first things I used to do was swim straight over to the third island and see how far I could make it before the cops killed me.
Yeah, I do miss that. Like, GTA 5 was the first one where they didn't have a segregated map sort of thing. You didn't unlock it.
Yeah.
And I missed that because it was a real sense of progression, and that's one of my, I still love GTA 5, but it is one of my issues, is it just kind of, you don't, progress. It doesn't have that grand kind of scale sort of thing that all the others had.
I mean, I had like a routine with those old games where like I'd load the game up and I'd mess around for ages, and then I'd play a load of story. Yeah, I'd play a massive chunk of story and unlock the next island, and then I'd mess around for ages, and then I'd play a massive chunk of story, and then finally unlock like the last island for San Andreas. And then I'd mess around for ages, complete the game, and then mess around and until the end of time. But yeah, it was just not. It's a good way to break things up, I guess, like story wise.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's a little bit odd how both maps, or like the San Andreas map fits in, because it's almost like they've built landmass somehow.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I didn't really have too much of an issue with it. Like I said, for me, it was just you lacked the progression of unlocking certain places and actually feeling like you're moving on to the next bit, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But we'll get on to that. What have I been playing? I've been playing Bioshock mostly.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Because I am doing that thing I said where I'm going to go in wanting to make a video for Bioshock 2. I'm just going to play through the whole series.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to do it. I can't wait to... Part of me is tempted to jump over to do Infinite, because that is kind of the next canonical game.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. In like, it's Ken Levine telling the story. And then come back to Bioshock 2. But I don't think I'm going to. I'm gonna just do it normally. But that's mostly just because
Bioshock 2.
I'm going to. I'm almost finished with Bioshock 1.
Yeah.
And I'm really tempted to platinum it, but it's got one of those. Well, it's actually got three. It's got three trophies I take issue with. One is a difficulty one, and they're always crap. They're always bad trophies where like you have to finish it on this level and this level, and
okay.
That always sucks. But it's also got two where you have to finish it on both hard and I think it's called Survivor difficulty, without dying. You're not allowed to use any of the Vita chambers.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, that sounds easy enough because you could just like save scum it. But I don't know if I could be bothered.
See, this is why the big boss runs in Metal Gear Solid were so good, because the only way to do it was to not... I mean, you didn't have physical rewards or anything. But you couldn't save the game.
Yeah. I think it would be easier, and it would make more sense for me if you could turn them off. I don't know if you can turn the Vita chambers off.
Yeah.
But what I'm really enjoying with this, because I'm playing the collection of them, is there's director's commentary as well every now and again. So you'll come across a little film reel and you can watch like a 10-15 minute bit of Jeff Keighley talking to Ken Levine and Sean something, I'm forgetting, who were both like heads of the game.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. It's really fun. I really hope there's more for that, especially in 2, because like I said, I don't know anything about 2. So then I'd go back and watch that afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, still fantastic. I'm focusing on wanting to do the Bioshock 2 video first. But I do have an idea for a Bioshock 1 video.
Yeah.
As well. That I may do afterwards. So this is it's giving me a lot of fun. And like I said, I just can't wait to get to Bioshock Infinite again, because I love that game so much. Very much looking forward to getting there. Because I never played the Burial at Sea DLC.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really excited to, get into that and go back to Rapture after they've like not reimagined it, but remade it. And, because they say about wanting to just try and use assets from the original Bioshock in that, but they were just too dated and it just stood out, so they had to remake it all.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to getting to that point.
I think I said this last time as well. I didn't realise that the DLC for that game actually took you back down into Rapture.
It's meant to be a big. It's meant to be hugely important.
Yeah.
To like the overall narrative. So anytime like something about that pops up, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No.
It's a madness, like how polar opposite we are about that game, though. Like I just really didn't enjoy Infinite.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it a bunch of times, but like, you are not alone in that. A lot of people didn't, but people have gone back to it since and been like, what?
Yeah.
It's really weird. I really like this game now.
See, the thing is,
it might have just been a wrong time.
I would even be tempted to go back and give it a go again, but like Rach was playing it at some point last year. I can't remember exactly when. I think there were some of the earlier games she played for it, actually, because she's played all 3 of them.
Oh, nice.
And she played them in order as well, unlike you.
Oh no, I'm going to play
You
them in order.
bloody weirdo. But yeah, she was playing through Infinite, and I was like watching her at bits and that, and I just weren't. I don't know. I'll give it a go.
Is it like the aesthetic of it as well?
No, not even, because it doesn't feel dated either. Yeah, that's one of the handy things about the Bioshock games, because of the art style they've gone for. It doesn't feel dated. It always reminds me a lot of the Fable game series, actually, the art style of Bioshock, which is fine. It's nice. I like it. It brings back good childhood memories. So. Yeah, maybe one day, but absolutely zero promises. I'd be tempted just to play the DLC bit that you're on about, though. Not that it'd make much sense to me if I don't know the characters.
I think the collection is on the PlayStation Network, so you might actually be able to do that.
Oh, I've got it anyway on PC. So I've got the DLC as well.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Well, I mean, I have had the intention to play it, because I've played back through Bioshock Remastered and Bioshock 2 Remastered. So clearly the intention was there at one point in time, but...
Yeah. Fair. I hope you do, because I really love it. Yeah. I just want more people to just to love it, because it is a great... I mean, when it came out, it was the highest rated first-person shooter ever.
Yeah.
Which is bonkers.
Yeah, that is a bit of a madness.
And it's just sad that, like, they are making a new one, but Ken Levine's got nothing to do with it, because he really struggled with making a big game like Bioshock Infinite, he said, and he wants to move on and just do smaller stuff again.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a shame, but it also gives someone else a chance to get their hands on Bioshock and do some stuff. I really want to play System Shock, though. I really want to go back, because that's the game. System Shock 2 is one he worked on before Bioshock, and then Bioshock's like a spiritual successor to it all.
Yeah. I think
I really want to go back and do those.
Hang on, let me look at the case. Because
it's got that.
It's the only way I remember. Yeah,
is it an AI woman?
I remember. Yeah, I did play the System Shock game.
They're remaking it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's... Because there is, like... I don't know if it's a remaster that's already out, but I think there's...
Enhanced Edition, it's called.
Yeah. I think there's a full-on remake coming out soon.
Well, that'd be cool.
Oh, that's for the first one.
Yeah. I mean, the first one is very, very, very dated.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, I really want to play both of them, because if they led into Bioshock, it's like, what, they're Bioshock then?
I don't know how... I mean, it's very cyberpunk-esque System Shock, so not entirely
it's
certain how that...
It's all set on a spaceship as well.
How that ties into... Well, I don't even know what Bioshock is, really, because it's not really steampunk. I mean, Infinite is very steampunk, but like the original two, I guess they're a little bit steampunky, but
it's more Art Deco.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it's actually called?
The styling of like all the buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Art Deco and steampunk hold like very similar traits to things anyway.
Sure. I like one benefit from me, excuse me, doing it this way as well, is that, you know, I'm going to have added context for Bioshock Infinite when I finally get to it again. Because Bioshock Infinite was the first one I played, so I just had Bioshock Infinite context. I didn't have grander extra. So like at the end of Bioshock Infinite, when you end up going back to Rapture very briefly, when she like drowns the Songbird.
Oh, so you have this massive piece of nostalgia that they've delivered after 3 games, and you didn't even get to experience. You did this with Dead Space as well, didn't you? Because you played the second, or was that me? I mean, I know.
No.
But...
I did it with Arkham.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I bought them pre-owned. I played 2, then 1.
I almost did it with Dead Space, I should say, because in Dead Space 2... No, wait, you haven't played Dead Space 2 yet. That's what's happening.
No, but I know...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I know about the return to the... I forgot what the spaceship's called.
The Ishimura. So I'd gotten, like, not even very far through the game. I'd say I played through, like, the first 2 hours of Dead Space 2 around a friend's house and then just put the controller down and was like, I need to play the first game. And just stopped. And I'm really glad I did.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that would have completely ruined that entire segment of the game, going back to the Ishimura.
See, Metal Gear is the entire reason I'm never really worried if I play something out of order.
Oh, I think for some things it matters. I'd say Dead Space, it definitely matters, but I feel you on the Metal Gear front.
Yeah, because I mean, again, partially they are far enough out of order that it's not going to necessarily completely spoil a game.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't feel like I missed anything by playing Arkham out of order either. I still really struggle with whether Arkham Asylum or Arkham City is the better game. Because they're both so fantastic.
I think as well it doesn't matter with Batman, because like if you're a fan of Batman or any comic series for that matter, you're consistently jumping around like time periods. There's countless reboots, retellings, reimaginings. So it's not from especially from like a superhero context. I just think it really doesn't matter. Like year one, talking about the film version of year one, absolutely great. The Dark Knight Returns being the complete other end of the spectrum of it, also amazing, but it really doesn't matter which order you watch them in, because I think Dark Knight Returns come out before the year one film. I can't actually remember.
Sure,
but yeah,
and I mean, like the new the Robert Pattinson movie is going to be like a year 2 movie.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to that. I think.
Oh, me too.
Because I rewatched the trailer the other day. It just sort of like flicked on YouTube, and watching him just wail on that dude. I mean, I know you don't see it, but it's the sounds they use in it. And I was just like, yeah, man, they brought Batman back to this like fucking badass, like I'm a beat you down sort of thing. And Robert Pattinson is genuinely pretty decent. I'm really looking forward to him. I really like Robert Pattinson. Yeah, I've seen him in a few things lately that he's just been really good in. I need to go back and finish watching The Lighthouse, because I mean, number one, it's got Willem Dafoe in it, and it's just, I mean, it comes across super interesting, but I just have a habit of watching films when I'm tired and don't wind up watching them. So.
Yeah, same here. But yeah, so that's what we've been playing. I don't think I've been playing anything else. I think I dabbled with a bit of Football Manager when I was tired.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's been Bioshock. I haven't jumped back into Returnal just yet, mostly because Bioshock's hooked me.
Oh, I did play a bit of Hearthstone as well, actually. I don't know if you ever got into that.
I played a little bit. Me
and my mate were like,
I got it on my
really
phone.
big on it for a while. But again, it's just something you can flick on your phone and, just whilst something else is going on or while you're waiting for something, have a quick couple of games. But man, I'm so far out now. I used to be up with the meta. There was a point I was doing ranked. I'd say I was doing fairly well, because I was getting up to like 4s and 5s, down from 20 from rank 25, and when you start reaching those lower ranks is where I think it's just insane. Like, the jump between, I'd say the jump between rank 6 and rank 5 is just mental. Like, the ability of the players. But I mean, I wouldn't even attempt ranked now. I don't know. There's so many new cards, and so many banned cards now as well. It's just I have no idea.
I mean, I don't remember exactly when I played it, but I remember having it on my phone and just messing around with it a bit. And like, I don't know if there's like a versus PC or computer mode sort of thing.
There is a really great mode, which is what I wound up playing mostly, called Tavern Brawl, where it changes week by week, and it's just a free-for-all sort of thing. The rules aren't so rigid. You either get given a deck and there's like special win conditions, or it's a little bit of fun here and there. It's not something I'd never want to get back into it the way I did back then, because it requires you to know every single card that is in play to be any good, and to be able to like tell what sort of a deck you're going up against. It's just, I ain't got the time or the mindset for that no more. So.
100%. 100%. Well, what would a week be without some Grand Theft Auto news? Because that's what we're going to be talking about today. There's not been a lot of Grand Theft Auto news, but there's been some kind of interesting Grand Theft Auto news. So, firstly, we now know the release date for the next gen version. So that's going to be coming out on November 11th. This also features, if you remember back to I think it was the PlayStation 5 reveal event, when they opened the event with Grand Theft Auto. I said that there'd be a free
bastards
thing for PlayStation Plus subscribers. So that free thing, is GTA Online. So you'll be able to download a standalone version of GTA Online for the first 3 months, which will of course then end in February 2022. From there, you'd obviously just have to pay for the full game. I really thought they should have done a standalone version of GTA Online by now, but I guess it just means more sales for GTA 5, which currently sits as the second best selling game ever, which is insane. And I think we were looking at it before. Was it 20 million units were sold last year?
Yeah, 20 million units in 2020.
Just bonkers.
It's just on 145 million. Is that million or billion? I don't know.
Million.
Yeah,
million.
Too many bloody numbers there.
I mean, considering it's an 8-year-old game.
Yeah, September
8-year-old
game, 2013. Yeah,
is just insane that it just keeps going. So it will come as no surprise. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention. Rockstar are also teasing some fun surprises for the 20th anniversary of GTA 3. I don't know whether that means stuff outside of GTA Online as well, but they've got specifically in this article that it's for GTA Online. So who knows? There might be some t-shirts and swag that you can buy.
You can guarantee that's what it's going to be. There's going to be a mask you can buy. Maybe there was a car that everyone always drove in GTA 3 from the beginning. They probably put that in the game. I mean, that's what I'm thinking anyway. See, now the person that the hopeful in me would like them to turn around and be like, "Hey, we've set up an entire map for you to go and explore."
That would be cool.
Let's go back. Because they did do that before, didn't they? I mean, you could only go to a little part of it. It was San Andreas, weren't it? You could go back to the GTA 3 map and play this tiny little segment there.
And you can come across the character in San Andreas as well.
Yeah. I heard that. I don't actually remember it off the top of my head.
Me neither. I don't ever remember doing it. I remember interacting with the woman because she becomes your girlfriend for a bit, and then you come across Claude.
Yeah,
but I never remember coming across Claude.
Yeah, no, I don't either. But I mean, the optimist in me wants them to say, here's the map. We built it for you. This is what we've been doing since 2013. I mean, no, I'd say that with a pinch of salt because they've done a lot for the online side of the game.
Oh yeah.
They ain't been playing with that shit, but
no, and it's just making them stupid money.
Yeah.
Stupid money, which leads nicely into the next point, which is GTA 6 is unlikely to come this year. Shock horror, because I don't think anyone actually thought it was coming this year. We're in May and we've heard nothing about it, so I don't think anyone actually thought it was coming this year.
It makes you wonder whether it's even going to exist. I mean, it obviously will. There's no way they're going to kill the franchise off at GTA 5, not when it's...
Yeah.
I mean, you can already picture it. The day I need to buy some stocks in the company soon, actually, I think, because the day they announce GTA 6 is the share price for Rockstar is going to rocket. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just going to say that now. But this is my prediction anyway. The share price is going to rocket, and then I'm going to sell whatever little amount of shares I bought.
Yeah, that's not a bad plan.
Watch, they're never going to announce GTA 6 now that I've said that.
No, my thing is, I'm really curious what they do with GTA Online, because it's raking them in stupid amounts of money, as said. Do they just kind of do like modern war, oh god, what's it called? Warzone, sorry. Call of Duty Warzone, where it's a separate standalone thing, or do they release a new GTA? I'd imagine it'd be a new GTA Online, and then you can just, I don't know, merge over.
I mean,
who knows? Who knows?
it seems a bit like it almost seems a bit mental. Like I reckon if they're going to do GTA Online again, then it needs to be a whole new thing, because it's the only way to introduce new players to it properly.
Well, thinking that it probably will be as well, because it's not going to be the same map, is it? It's going to be. It sounds like it's going to be Vice City again.
But I have like an issue with like the online. So there was a phase where you could migrate your old Xbox account over. For whatever reason they decided to stop that, probably because back then we was all glitching things in left, right and centre, and making loads of money. But all my mates who went from Xbox to PC have their old Xbox account on their PC version, and they had all their stuff, and I don't, and they're all like super high level from back when we used to play it all the time. And I only play it every now and then, so my character's stuck on like a level 20. I can't even fully upgrade a goddamn car because I refuse to put in the hours that I used to put in to unlock everything, basically. Not that it would realistically take that long. It's just, when I turn GTA Online on, I just want to jump on, mess around for a little bit, and then come off. It's not, the grinding stuff isn't something you want to think about. You do just want to jump in.
Not
when I already did
which
it.
is a lot of my issue with the online. Exactly. What do you want to go through it again? I've never been much of an online guy personally. I dabbled with it a bit when it first came out, and probably wasn't the best time to do it, because it was the first time they were doing that, so it was a bit of a mess. But it was still fun. There was still good times to be had there.
GTA Online was a heaving mess when it first came out. Oh, it was great. I really loved the chaos of GTA Online when it first came out. It was just mental. I mean, it's still mental, to be fair, but the glitching, that's what I mean. The glitching was just insane. Like, you could get a car out of the main game into online and just sell it and make yourself loads of money, and just rinse and repeat that until you had enough money to essentially buy your levels with in-game currency. I used to think it was mental, because they unleashed all of those those codes that you could buy, so using real money to get the in-game currency. I was like, why would anyone ever do that when it's so easy to just glitch something over and sell it? Like, and
they're constantly giving you money as well. Anytime something goes wrong or there's an update or whatever, they give you a bunch of money as well.
Handouts left, right, and centre. Nice. I mean, pay to win's always going to be a bit of a thing, isn't it? So it's like, a brand new car's come out. Let me just get the money down to buy that, rather than grinding the missions out. I mean, I guess that's something I could do if I really, really felt like it, and I don't. The Hearthstone, actually, oddly enough, that I mentioned it earlier, is one of the only games I've ever put money into, and that's just because I was like really into the meta, wanted to get good at it, and needed to get cards. So it was essentially like playing Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or whatever card game people play. So you're just buying card packs because it's actually a part of the experience. But nothing like GTA. I can't imagine spending money on in-game currency in a game.
Yeah, no, it's something I very, very rarely do. I haven't done it for a very, very long time, excuse me. But yeah, no, we're seemingly not going to get GTA 6 for, I don't know, probably at least a year, 2, 3, maybe. There's definitely, they've been teasing it for quite a while. They have been teasing it. And like we're currently in our longest period without a new Grand Theft Auto game. It's been, like I said, about 8 years or so. And we're getting GTA 5 remastered this year. for the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, and that'll probably be on PC as well. So it is probably going to be a bit longer.
Mind
It is
you.
they might even stretch it to 10 years.
Oh, I was just looking at this. San Andreas originally come out in 2004, so it was 9 to 10 years between those two games. I don't remember the gap being quite that big. Oh no, GTA 4 in between there. See, that's how much I didn't really enjoy GTA 4, bar its fantastic suicide
really
simulation.
Oh yeah, the ragdoll physics.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, because that was 2008.
Yeah, okay. Oh, well, no, actually, yeah, that gap's not very big at all between those games. No. That's quite funny. I actually completely forgot it existed. Oh dear.
Fun. But yeah, I bring this up because today we are going to discuss what we individually want in a GTA 6, what we want to see. We're going to disregard anything we know, because it seems like they're going back to Vice City. They may do some kind of amalgamation where they reuse the Los Santos map from GTA 5, so maybe there's a 2-city thing. But we're gonna disregard that, because we're gonna talk about what we want, whether it be setting, whether it be characters, whether it be a particular kind of story or a story through line that we want to follow, whether it be returning characters, what have you. We are going to talk about the individual things that we want to see from GTA 6. So I'm gonna start. I'll start off actually. I highly think that I highly doubt they're going to do it, but I want to go back in time again. I don't. While I do think there's a lot they could do story wise with everything that's been going on in the last even like 3-4 years. I kind of miss the kind of nostalgia that you get from going back in time, even if it's somewhere like long before I was born, even if they go back to like Mafia era or go like 60s, 70s. I like a lot of the aesthetic and stuff like that from back then. And I think there's a lot that can be done with everything we know in hindsight. And I think even because, I mean, one big thing about today is history repeating itself and not learning from history. So I still think there's a lot that they can do with stuff that's happening today, but contextualize it, back 40, 50, 60 years sort of thing. I don't know. I just don't think there's, other than like Mafia 3, which obviously went back to New Orleans, and I think it was that the 50s, 60s?
I think it was 50s. I don't really, because I still not played through the third one properly.
Sure. Yeah. No, I haven't either. To be fair, I paid maybe a quarter.
I really want to. So what you're saying there about going back to like Mafia-esque like America, I'm actually like solidly against that concept for a new GTA game, mainly because the Mafia games do it so well, like the first and second at least. And the first game just last year had its remake, which if you haven't played it yet, you should really get on that, because it is really, really good. I enjoyed every minute of it. Probably a bit of focus on like free roam, because there is free roam in the game. You can just go off and do random stuff, but it's you don't need to. I think I've always wanted this since the beginning of time. Literally the beginning of time. I want a GTA game that is set in 70s London with all of
that'd be cool.
All of the punk sort of like aesthetic of how run down and broke London was. Like it was a very broken place in the 70s, and it just opens the door to like a completely different style of gangster, I guess. Like you wouldn't really be a gangster anyway, would you? You're some little, like the way I picture it anyway, some little hood rat running around dive bars, robbing people. And I guess going back a bit more to like a more petty crime level of thing, you know, because GTA 5 took you, especially with online, has taken you into this massive heist world. In fact, all of the GTA 5 storyline is based around heists, and it is like all this really big grandiose shit. It's the same thing that the Fast and the Furious franchise have done. Completely stepped away from everything I loved about the first Fast and Furious film and took it somewhere I never wanted it to go. I did enjoy GTA 5. I'm not saying I didn't, because the storyline in that is great, but I'd love to see things come back down to a bit of a more petty crime level. Obviously not like solid petty crime, but more like it was in GTA 3. And I guess Vice City... No, even Vice City didn't go into massive heisty level things, did it? I mean, you know, you stole some helicopters. No. The outlandish stuff has to stay. But yeah, no, I'd absolutely love that. I mean, number one, any excuse to revisit London in a game for me always makes me happy, because I'm like, oh, I know that place. Oh, I've been there. You know, this happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think the 70s would be a nicer, a better place to go rather than the Mafia days.
Yeah.
I just think that is a place that they haven't touched and could go to. And again, I think with the 70s, they can do a lot with some of the stuff that is still going on today, because in the 70s, a lot of the issues then are just regurgitated stuff that's being regurgitated these days. Yeah. You know, there was a lot of, you know, peace protests and stuff like that. There was a lot of
the importance of a riot,
fighting back against racism and stuff. Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a lot of issues that you know, are still prevalent today, you know, that have cropped back up more so than they have in a good while today.
It's madness, actually. We're 1 year into the 20s, and it does feel like the world's taken a massive,
we've gone back 50 odd years.
Massive step backwards.
Yeah.
But I guess it was just always there anyway. Anyway.
Yeah. And there's so much I think you can touch on that are similar. You just contextualize it in a 70s aesthetic, really. So I think it could still stay relevant, because I know one of the arguments against going back in the past is, you know, the whole relevancy thing. There's so much now that they could touch on and use. I think there's a lot in the 70s that is still an issue today, if not, as we come back.
My biggest argument against that is I've just lived what's happened lately. Like, I don't... I mean, modern games, like anything that's set during modern times, it immediately sort of like switches my brain off, because I'm here. I'm here. I know what now is like. I growing up, I sort of like so this is why I pulled the 70s out, is because I've always idolized that sort of time period. You know, I grew up listening to punk rock, and you know, I've always loved that whole aesthetic, everything about it, moving from the 70s into the 80s, that sort of changeover between like this really aggressive anarchy-based punk into this like hair rock 80s of just having fun sort of thing. You know, I love it, and I love looking at stuff from it, and you know, sort of like based the way I dressed growing up, I was all based on the 70s and shit like that. But even now it is as well, because I still wear a polo shirt with a pair of Doc Martens and some turn up jeans, you know, like
I mean, loads of people do.
Yeah.
I think we're in a really, like, in terms of that
these days,
I was gonna say, I think we're in a really interesting time now where you know how they say, oh, fashion always comes back, it always rotates back round. Now we're in this kind of weird space where it's kind of we're kind of in a black hole where every kind of thing is just popular now.
Do you know what it is?
No one really cares. You can be punk, you can be hippie, you could be, you know, whatever, and you know, some people will pick up that and they'll go on and they'll like that. But you can just be whatever now, which is really cool.
Yeah. I mean, certainly when I was growing up, wearing a pair of Docs, I didn't actually wear them that much when I was younger. My best friend did, but you know, people looked at you like it was mental. I mean, we're like 13, 14 years old, and we're on skateboards, and people are just a bit like, what's this? This isn't how people are anymore. At least people in school, and I guess that's all just school tactics anyway, school mindsets. But yeah, no, certainly these days people, it's because these days are so shit. We're just like, let's just go somewhere backwards, because I mean, we're always going to idolize something that we don't have. I'm sure the 70s was shit for a lot of people, and especially
no doubt,
especially in a Grand Theft Auto game, it would be hella shit for a lot of people, because I'm gonna be running people over. That's what I spend a lot of my time doing in GTA games, airing out that frustration of human existence.
So yeah, what are something you'd like to see from a GTA 6?
I'd like to see Rampage missions make a proper comeback. That was another thing I loved on the old PlayStation 1 versions of the game. GTA 1 and GTA London, funnily enough. Just going to a random place, hitting that Rampage token, and then I know we had it in GTA 5 a little bit with Trevor, but it wasn't enough to satiate. I just want more of that. So if I remember, in the original GTA 1, or it might have been GTA 2 actually, there'd just be like random weapons lying around, and you pick them up and you could get the weapon, but to get the weapon you'd have to kill X amount of people with it, having just picked it up.
Sure.
And I just liked that little touch to it. I understand that they wanted to take it in a more realistic direction, but it's something gimmicky that you could do in very high definition graphics that could wind up being quite beautifully gory, like draw from Manhunt. You're walking along, especially if this was based in London, mate, this would work mad well. You're walking along, grab a little plastic bag, and you just have to go around and choke out as many people as you can with it. There's the sadist though. But I reckon that would be pretty cool. Little Rampage missions making a return.
I do think it would be quite cool. I think they could do the same with like racing missions and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of those kind of gameplay mechanics that have been left by the wayside a little bit.
Well, I think that's what they're doing with this new online update, isn't it? They're focusing.
That's what I was going to say. Racing. I think a lot of that. Yeah, I think a lot of that, and I wouldn't be surprised if they put like a Rampage thing into online. I don't know if there is already.
No, that's just called
but
online.
I wouldn't be surprised.
You just log in, mate.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's true. But I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the focus is that. Those kind of mechanics are going to be aspects of the online. But no, I'm with you. They were always fun. I did enjoy the Trevor ones. I think narratively they were a bit
they didn't need to.
Cool. Okay.
They didn't need to give it a narrative. Like, it should have just been a thing. I understand why they tried to make it story based, but this is what I'm saying. Like, just give me a token next to a bench in a park.
Yeah,
and I'll
exactly.
run up to it. And I'll pick it up and I'll kill everyone. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Because I mean, I love the random encounters that you can have, but I don't think the Rampage stuff needed random encounters. I think they could have just been like, I really liked. I think it was Saints Row that did it, and they made it into like a little game show type thing. I can't remember, Professor Genki, I think it was called. And they just turned up the cartoonness of it, and they played fully into it.
Didn't the games
and that was all the context.
The Saints Row games like completely went in that direction in the end, though, didn't they?
Eventually,
I didn't get on with them. I actually was all right with the first game, but I fell off of them pretty quickly.
Yeah, because I think as long as you can contextualize in it, it's like, no, this is this completely different thing that you're doing in this isolated place or this isolated location. I don't, because if you just have it randomly about, I think people will be like, well, it doesn't make sense for the world and blah,
it's just a mini game within the game. That's all it is.
It's a game. Exactly.
I don't mind. I really want to see that come into the game, I guess, in a single player way as well. But like, so in online, you can buy arcade machines for your apartment and that, and you can like have your mate come into your apartment, and you can sit there and play mini games with each other within the game. It's like I don't even know, meta bullshit. It's great though. Like, you know, you just got these side-scrolling arcade games within the game, and I think that's a great addition, and definitely is something they should like keep pulling back into the new games. Mini games within the game. I know San Andreas had one as well, didn't it? Can't remember what it was though, which again is a bit sad considering the amount I've played it. But you could go into the living room and play on like the PlayStation.
It was like that kind of. It was kind of like a Gallagher sort of game, wasn't it? You spin in a circle and just take out the alien.
Yeah, that was
spacecrafts, I think, maybe. That could be how they do the Rampage mode. Is they contextualize it as you're playing an arcade game, and then you go to an arcade, or there's one at a bar or something like that, and you just go into like, it could be the same. Aesthetically, it could be the same world and that, but it's contextualized in that you're playing an arcade game. You know what
they could do? They could just put the entire Warriors PS2 game within the game, and I'd happily sit there within the game playing the Warriors game. That
would be cool. That would be very cool. I really think they should remake that, but that's for another. That's for another time.
Just to quickly put it in there, the game, the Warriors, is better. Far better than the film The Warriors. After you've played the game, go back and watch the film and realise that, well, at least I did anyway, all of my memories of The Warriors are actually from this bloody video game as opposed to the film. And
that's the same with me with I haven't context, I haven't actually watched The Godfather, and I don't really have too much interest in actually watching
fucking boring, mate.
But all the stuff I know about it, right? All the stuff I know about it and all the context I have for the first one is from the video game.
Yeah.
Because I really liked
I didn't even play the video game. That's how much the films put me off.
The video game's good. I like the game. The first one, at least. I haven't played the second one. So I think it's about time we had a female character.
Yeah.
I think it's long since time. I think, like we mentioned earlier with Sadie Adler, I think she's a fantastic place to take Red Dead if they are gonna continue with that series, but I think it's long since time that we had a female character, because again, there is so much you can do with story wise, and with all the struggles that females have gone through in whichever era you decide to do it, especially if you're in the 70s.
Oh yeah, so big time, man.
I mean, any era, there is so much you could do with it. And I'd probably take it a step further and be like, this should either be like a black female, or it should be like a Latin female, or something like that. I think we've done enough of, granted, we've only had like 2 black males in CJ and Franklin.
Yeah.
And I think canonically they're meant to be related as well.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure if that's true. I know their voice actors are related, they're cousins, but I'm not sure. I think there's a lot. I don't know if that's just a theory or if it's been confirmed, but there is supposed to be some sort of relationship.
I think diversity big time is something that we've got to see. I mean, even it's like you say, even though we did have Franklin in GTA 5, it was still like very white dominated. In it was 2/3 of the game, you're playing a white male. So that's certainly one thing that I would worry a little bit about for GTA 6 coming out eventually is if, and I don't think they would, because it would be really dumb, but if they went to a create a character style thing instead of like your generic, or not generic, of Grand Theft Auto is very, very heavily story driven, and I think like a create a character side would be
I really don't think they will, because that's you get that in online anyway. So it wouldn't make sense.
It's just
for me.
talking about like diversity and stuff like that. That I think that is like people's easy way around it, where it shouldn't be an easy way around it. What they should do is create a story that's like really engaging. I completely agree. I think we should, 100%. Especially for GTA. Well, especially for a lot of things, we should step away from that consistent white male, mid-20s, mid to late 20s.
And I mean, there, obviously there is credit where it is due. Like we've had, we also had the Ballad of Gay Tony as well.
Oh, I forgot about
Louise.
That, yeah.
Was it called Louise? I think it was called Louise.
The Ballad of Gay Tony was a great fucking addition.
It's great. That's
oh man, I forgot about that. Oh man, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Ballad of Gay Tony is fantastic. I love the Ballad of Gay Tony. Oh man, I miss those. I really wish they'd done more.
So that was a nice thing in GTA
for a good while
5,
they teased
actually.
it.
Like when you start playing as Trevor and you kill the biker you play as in the Lost and
Damned.
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant actually.
Yeah, me too. I thought that was a cool connection. I was hoping there would be more. I really was. I was wishing there was more like single player stuff that was coming after, because like there was a lot of teasing that there was from like the actors and stuff like that. But I think that all just ended up being recontextualized into GTA Online. And like Nico and a lot of the characters are like Eastern European and stuff like that. So there is
Rockstar. I mean, Rockstar's always been pretty good with that sort of stuff, mainly because they have companies. Well, I know they've like pulled it all into one thing now, haven't they? But you used to have Rockstar North, Rockstar, Rockstar everywhere. Basically, it's always been a pretty diverse company, which is a really good thing. Which is why, again, it would be nice to see them female head the game, because I think that's one of the only things they haven't really done yet. Exactly.
I think that is the final step. Like you've gone Wild West, you've gone we've had the Latin in Luis, we've had the black in CJ and Franklin, we've had whatever Trevor was.
Where is Trevor? Where is because I can never remember, but Nico, where was he supposed to be from?
I think I want to say Serbia, but I'm not sure that's true.
Let me look it up.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't think I don't know if they ever specifically were like, this place. I think it was just like, because I remember there was a lot of like, are you Polish? And you say, no, I'm not Polish, or bits like that in the game, I think. But yeah, really, I think the only two things that they really have left to play around with in
Serbia, Yugoslavia, Serbia.
Oh, nailed it.
Yeah.
I think the only things they've got left to really touch on as a main character is female, and then it's LGBTQ plus.
Yeah.
So if you have like a bisexual or lesbian woman as the main character, granted, it's going to piss a lot of people off, but that's what GTA does.
Yeah, and that's one thing Rockstar as a company have always been fantastic for. Just going with what they should, pushing things essentially, isn't it? Grand Theft Auto started off as like a cop game, didn't it? You were supposed to be a cop. I think it's called Cops and Robbers or something like that.
Yes. No. So originally it started out as just like it was just meant to be a racing game. Yeah. Where you just drive around, but then they found a glitch where you could run over people and the cops became really aggressive. Yeah. I don't know if you played as police in that one, or if it was you were the getaway driver.
My memory on this is like super hazy. It's from a YouTube video I would have watched like years ago.
Yeah, same. But yeah, it all came from a glitch where like the cops, once they were on you, they just became very aggressive. I especially, I think the 70s is a perfect place, because there was a lot of, granted we have it a lot now, there was a lot of pushback against like law enforcement and their aggressiveness and stuff like that. And that's again, just going back to it, that's again what I mean by like, in going back in time, you can still touch on a lot of the things that are relevant and, horrible that need addressing these days, because we are just repeating history a lot, which is
still
bonkers.
fighting the same
ridiculous,
fights
but
that always
absolutely
have been.
I mean, a lot of the rap music that come out in the 90s and stuff like that are incredibly relevant these days, because it is, word for word is exactly what people are going through, and it's just ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. But again, a female, potentially LGBTQ character would be nice, because I think it's long since time, and it's something people, even though it would piss a lot of people off, it's something a lot of people have been asking for. It's like, where is our female character? Because like in Red Dead Redemption 2, like I said, they very clearly can write a very, very, very good female character. Maybe it's time we actually play this.
As long as it isn't blokes writing women, because blokes write horrible women. Mate, like...
Yeah, well...
it's one of my favourite subreddits, actually. It's fucking hilarious. It's called Men Writing Women. And it's just bad. It's just bad.
I'll have to check that out. I love a fun subreddit. But no, touching on writing really quick, one segue I do want to talk about is that I am a little bit worried about what the direction of Grand Theft Auto is going to be now, or Rockstar in general, because I've said it a bunch of times. They lost some very, very key people in their writing. Dan Houser, who was one of the co-founders of Rockstar, left, and we don't know why. We don't know if it was just I feel like I've done everything I want to do and moving on sort of thing, or if it was Take-Two or trying to take Rockstar in a direction they didn't want to go in. But Dan Houser has written everything from GTA 3, maybe even before that. And they've lost a couple of other very key, very important writers. So I do worry, what GTA 6 and everything after that is going to look like, especially after the heights of Red Dead Redemption 2, because that's arguably their best game ever.
I'm starting to feel like that.
Practically everywhere sense.
I am. Yeah. The further through it I get, because the missions in that game are so well crafted together. Yeah,
they are.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Man. I need to go back and play that. But yeah, I do worry a bit about the future. So I think it's not to say that there aren't other people that could come in and do a good job on that. It is just when you lose someone that has been that pivotal to the company and that prevalent in writing so much in every single one of their games, it does make you what's going to happen next sort of thing. And it is also the why he left as well. Is it because Take-Two want to take... Because there was talk about them wanting to push more games out of Rockstar, which I kind of understand, because we're now in, like I said, the longest period. Yeah, we've doubled the length it was between the last two games.
I mean, if he's been writing since at the very least GTA 3, that come out in 2001, so that is 20 straight years. Probably retirement time. So let's hope for that anyway.
1999. His first game, ironically enough, was GTA London.
Oh, was it? Nuts. Yeah. Bring him back. I want more London.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely there are obviously... He's not the only person that can write these games by any stretch. But it does make you worry when, your co-founder and lead writer for all of their... Not even all their best games, just all of their games straight up, has decided to leave. I think the only two he didn't write and he was just producer on were Smuggler's Run Warzones.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that is. And L.A. Noire.
Which explains why
I think tells you a lot.
Shit.
Exactly. But yeah, no. What else do you want to see from GTA 6, Jim?
I mean, the soundtrack's very important. I know this falls into the era that we're going for, but Like,
sure.
I'd like to see some of the older style radio stations coming back, like K Rose, man.
Yeah.
K Rose was just my jam. I could listen to that every time putting it on. I knew what advert was coming up, but I was there for the adverts.
They were so entertaining.
Same with GTA 3 as well, actually. Oddly enough, I don't remember a lot of Vice City. I remember the soundtrack from Vice City, like it's impaled in my head, but I don't remember the sort of like mid-song ad rolls in it. But like I always remember little ones from GTA 3 and San Andreas, definitely from K Rose. But again, I did listen to that like it was going out of fashion. Definitely adds. Oh, we talked about this before as well, didn't we? Actually, because Spider-Man tried to implement that sort of thing.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
but failed miserably. Like I think it's the only part of the game that I thought was just genuinely shit.
Yeah, I think it worked a little bit better in Miles because it wasn't just that one. There's another podcast that while it's still not anywhere near as good as I think they were trying to go for, it is, you do have two interchanging, so it's not always just going to be, as great as J. Jonah Jameson is, it's not always going to be that same person. You do have, I don't remember what she's called in the second one, but she is like a counterpoint. It's a much more positive and kind of indie feeling podcast compared to J. Jonah Jameson, the Bugle thing. Well, it's not even a bugle, it's just the same thing.
It's just him chatting.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, again, if they, go into London, I think, again, there's a lot they can do because it would be very different from, the American style radio stations. You wouldn't have the, you don't get the crazy, Crazy Steve adverts and who got a stupid deal on cars and sell and stuff like that. They were much more muted over here, so I think there's a lot more you could do. Like, I would love to see what their piss take of like the Archers or something like that is. They're just really, really West Country, talking about farming and dramatic bullshit. I think there's a lot of really cool, really fun stuff that can be done outside of being in America. And one of the things that's always fascinated me about Rockstar is I kind of get why they focus on America, because they are a British company and they're on the outside looking in, so they can hold a mirror up like an American company can't necessarily. I'm with you though. I would just like them to hold up a mirror to Bristol, to London and like the UK as well. I think it could be really cool. I think they could do a lot with. Because even the music over here, especially if you're in the 70s, you could have like, it'd be a lot of money, but you could have like the Beatles in there, or you can have some Beatles rip-offs and stuff like that. I think there's a lot.
I wouldn't take the Beatles.
I mean, if you're going to the 70s, you kind of have to. They were the biggest thing around.
Yeah, I guess.
But, yeah. Fully with you though. I think. I personally would get rid of. I personally wouldn't try to replicate or try to do a 3-character thing again, or a multi-character thing again. Just on a smaller sort of level thinking of things I'd want.
They could have focused so much more. Like the game should have been about Franklin's story, in my opinion. Yeah, but it wound up being more about Michael's story than.
I was going to say, I think it should have potentially been you play as Michael, but the story is really about Franklin, sort of thing, and his come up and that.
Because Franklin's like the rags to riches character of the game, and that's always the more interesting story point for me. I get what you mean about playing it through Michael's eyes and seeing Franklin as his character sort of like grow, and you could have gone full Red Dead on that, like kill Michael off at the end, because then you still got the big payoff, and then to continue playing in the single player world, you get brought back in as Franklin. Actually, now that I'm saying that out loud, that actually sounds like a good idea. Rockstar,
I think
employment.
I really think that for me, I think I've said this on Game Fruit as well. I I don't think any one of the characters were strong enough to lead the game by themselves. But if one of them was going to be, I really think it's Michael, because they did things with that character that they hadn't done before. We'd already seen the rags to riches literally in CJ, and that's kind of one of my complaints about Franklin's character, is like it kind of feels like a little bit of a rerun of CJ.
I think like CJ's character and his story kind of goes from like rags to hey, shit's going okay, to rags to shit's going okay, to eventually being like humbling yourself, I guess, and coming back home. So it's about that full sort of like circle. Whereas like Franklin is solidly a rags to riches. You start off in the ghetto and you wind up in the fucking Hollywood Hills, like
Yeah, for sure. And like Trevor was Trevor. Like he was fun, but you can't hang a story.
I mean, I would say he's forgettable, but the actor is so fucking good. He's an unforgettable character, but an unnecessary character.
He is 100%. He's one of those where it's like Archer boy from Walking Dead. Like he's fantastic as that other character. He's, when he is the focal point, it becomes a bit tiresome and a bit. But when like you're just watching him do his thing and be an absolute lunatic, and it's hilarious to watch. But when you're actually playing it can get a bit tiresome, and especially if he's the entire point of the game. But no, I really think Michael was the best character out of three, because it was just different to things they've already done. Like you've got some similarities in Nico, in that he's an older guy, he's been through shit, but Nico's story was different because he was coming to a new place, he was chasing the American dream sort of thing. Whereas Michael, he's older, he's retired, he's I love the therapist bits. I thought they're fantastic, so well written and funny. And I think the kind of tired, retired perspective that he took was a far more interesting one. And like I said, I think he should have been the main character with, he's got this son that he kind of hates because he's a dick. He's very self-important. And then he finds kind of everything he wants in a son, in Franklin, and then helps him come up and stuff like that. I think having the come up, but from a different viewpoint, would have been more interesting, I think. And again, I think I don't think they're going to be able to replicate the 3-person or 4-person or however many people the plan could be. I think you need a solitary, focused character again.
Well, it's just easier for storytelling as well, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, as fun as it was, like I said, none of them were overly strong.
Man, I cared more about
you do spend a lot of time with
than
them.
I did Trevor. So,
at
the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, like these 3 are all fun. Like they feel more like characters you would encounter and have a mission line with, rather than being main characters in another game. I think they are the weaker of the series, personally. But saying they're weak characters in a GTA game is like saying it's the worst kind of pizza. They're still very good and very well written. I don't know what else I want, to be honest. I wouldn't mind if it was a slightly smaller experience, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of dead land in GTA 5 as well.
Yeah, I really think, and again, I think part of that can be fixed by the progression of unlocking bits. I really, really liked in GTA 4 where they were like, no, you can't go here yet because the bridge is under construction, or, the stuff like that. I think a progression of the actual world itself, again, would be nice. And I think it would add to that grander scale,
agree with that.
Which I think you lost in GTA 5, apart from like that beginning bit when you first are able to go out into like the backwoods with Trevor
the map
and stuff.
scale makes sense online. the empty space doesn't feel so empty. But from a single player perspective, like that, there's sections of the map that you don't ever touch. But then again, like it's also one of the things I like in Red Dead. But you're just exploring around and you just find a random path that you've never seen before, and you're like, "Yo, I'm gonna go down there and find out you're on some." And this is what I like about GTA 5: random mountain biking path. They've literally designed it for you to mountain bike down. And that's really cool. And I'm glad. Like little things like that is great. That's probably why you couldn't do it in London. There's nowhere to fucking do stuff like that. Like,
well, I mean, it wouldn't be a 1-to-1 of London, though, would it? It would be their hyper thought of version of London. So I think they could do it. And I would love to see their take on it, just a completely new place. Like London was, well, I mean, in fairness as well, their London was 1969. Yeah. Which, that fits perfectly in the time frame.
You bring the old character back. God knows what his name was. Pixelated figure number 1. He probably didn't even have a name.
I can't see a name. I'm on the Wikipedia now.
GTA London.
It probably didn't. Yeah, he probably didn't have a name. It was probably just that character. Because I think that was back before they had like proper storylines and stuff. It was like go here, do stuff.
Charles Jones. Yeah,
Wait,
apparently.
Huh. Well, thanks Wikipedia for not giving me that. Is there anything else you particularly want?
Not really. I think like Rockstar's got a good handle on what we enjoy. So as long as they carry on the way they are, because I'm still down for like hyper realism. I'd just like to see some of the more like quirky sides of the old games come back, essentially. And at the end of the day, I'll take a story based wherever they want to base it, as long as it's well written 100%. And it's well thought out. I'd be fine with it. We'll see. I have my ideal. Bring it back to London. Bring it home. Been long enough, but there's nothing. They're so solid on their GTA games and their Red Dead games as well now. Like I have complete faith in them to just do it.
So the only other one thing I want from Grand Theft Auto, and I've said it a couple of times, and I know it doesn't jive with most people. 70s term, but I would honestly like to see them just take a break. I want, obviously I want Bully 2, I want that agent game, I want the new Max Payne, I want them to revisit Manhunt, I want Midnight Club, I want them to take a break and make some smaller games in between. Because don't get me wrong, I obviously love GTA, I love Red Dead Redemption. But I don't want them to just become GTA Red Dead Redemption company. No. I want, people want Bully 2. Surprisingly, a lot. I thought I was in a minority. I really thought people didn't care about it. And then I actually started looking online about Bully 2, and loads of people want Bully 2. I just want to see, what was that agent game? I want to know what that was. I want to see new things. And granted, you can get new things in Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption. Like I said, going in different directions, having female protagonists, stuff like that. But I think there's more to them. You've got a lot of people didn't like Max Payne 3. I really liked Max Payne 3.
I've still not played it.
I really like what they did with Max Payne 3. Midnight Club was cool. I really think they could transition that and give it a story and make it into, what Need for Speed isn't anymore, and make it what Fast and Furious has tried to do in the video game space for so long and just constantly failed at. I really think, they could even pivot Manhunt and make it into like a gory horror game, or make it into a horror centric like battle royale or something like that. I think there's so much they could do, outside of Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead, I would just like to see what else they could do. I want them to flex a little bit. I want them to just show off what they can. You've shown off what you could do with beloved franchises. Not to say like Midnight Club, Max Payne, and Bully aren't beloved. Well, I can't really even call Bully a franchise because it's only one game. But I feel like there's just so much untapped there that they could play around with. Hell, a new ping pong game. Just anything. I want to see something more.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead, but they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They've got 10 to 12 other studios. And granted, they all got pulled in to work on Grand Theft Auto and online and stuff like that. But I really think there's a lot you could do with like an LA Noire, for instance. I think you could put it in a new time period and make it a kind of tech piece to show off what new hardware could do, or just give people that Bully game that they're so desperately craving, or even do more like a Ballad of Gay Tony and Lost the Damned, because they were awesome. Give us little spin-offs. They kind of did the same with like the portable games as well, like the Stories of Liberty City and Stories of Vice City, I believe, where they told smaller stories with characters that were already in those games. I think there's so much more you can do outside of these big games. I do not mind having one big game every 5 to 10 years and then having a couple of smaller experiences in between those. I think that's something, especially the size of Rockstar, can not easily do, but you get my drift. It is something that is feasible. And just adds a bit more diversity, because as great as their two big franchises are, they are kind of just different contextually. They are just different visually. They're very much the same game. It is just a different era sort of thing. And just tackling different issues and different again, I go back to Bully because it's probably my favorite game ever, but I think they could do a lot there. They were working on it with like a different art style, and again with everything that has been going on, I think there's a lot they can touch on with Bully, and there's a lot of fun that could be had, and I think having a different art style would also make it stand out. I just think they've got it's almost a Konami thing where they've got so many franchises, but they're only using these two, sort of thing. I would just love some more diversity from them personally, but that's all really. I'm completely with you, Jake. I think they're very much just kind of they know what they're doing. Yeah. They know how to utilize not Rockstar. That's who they are. Like Grand Theft Auto and clearly with Red Dead, because Red Dead 2 is one of the best games ever made. I just want some smaller experiences, and I want that from loads of companies, to be fair. I've talked about Atlas, who make Persona. I want after playing Catherine, I want more of that. I want them to keep going with smaller experiences like that personally. But have you got anything else at all that you'd like to see just from Rockstar, not even from Grand Theft Auto?
I mean, there's plenty of IPs they could play on, but I just would be happy for any decent game to come out, to be honest.
Yeah. I really want to know what that Agent game was going to be.
I don't even know what that is. So.
I would love to see there. So you only ever saw a splash screen of the title. It never went any further, but it was going to be like a spy film, a spy movie. I really want to see what Rockstar's take on a spy game would have been, because I think they would like their version of James Bond would have been so cool to see.
For sure.
I would love to see what they would have done with like the trappings and the cliches of James Bond, and I think it could have been really, really cool. And they've never officially cancelled it either, so fingers crossed. Even though that's very, very, very unlikely, unfortunately. But yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, whatever GTA 6 is, it's probably going to be great. It's probably going back to Vice
Yeah.
City from everything we see. There's a lot of I haven't personally played any of it, but on the online stuff, there's apparently a fair few hints that Vice City is where they're going to be going back to. And it'd be interesting to see what they do with the actual, city of Vice City, given where they went from San Andreas to GTA 5. I don't know. I kind of hope that they bring back Tommy for have maybe like an older Tommy if they're going to do a modern thing.
I'm not too fussed about them bringing old characters back or any of that sort of side of it. To be totally honest, like.
Sure.
I'm sure they're going to make a great game out of it, whatever they do.
Yeah. I'd be very surprised if it's anything other than great, to be honest. I mean, like I said, it is Rockstar, even though they've lost Dan Houser and a couple of other key people. It's still Rockstar. They've still got incredible pedigree. Still going to make a stupid amount of money, probably.
Oh yeah.
But we're probably not. We're probably not going to see GTA 6 until GTA 5 starts to calm down, because, like we said, 20 million units last year. 7 years after the game launched.
It is a madness.
It's absolutely bonkers. But hey ho, that's a couple of things we want to see from GTA 6, and in my case, Rockstar on the whole. Do you have any ideas? What would you like to see from GTA 6? Let us know in the comments, and leave us some nice comments while you're down there. If you've got any questions, concerns, ideas for topics, anything like that, send them over to esgvids@gmail.com. And nothing else. I think that's all. I haven't got any other videos coming out just yet. I'm only just working on some bits and pieces. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you once again for joining me, Jake. There is one actually next week. Jake is not here.
Is that next
week? Jake is going away for a week.
I'm here for the next week's one. Is the week
is it a week after?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we record on Wednesdays now. God, I'm tired. I need a cup of tea, I think. But okay, not next week. The week after, Jake won't be here. But yeah. Anyways, we will talk to you again next week in that case.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye bye now. Bye bye.
Bye.